Is what I saw recently when it comes to VeChain something what I would consider to be a nice progress report? Well, I would say yes, even though nothing I say is financial advice. And what am I talking about, right? Because remember not too long ago when there was the Hayabusa upgrade when it comes to VeChain, in which case a lot of people didn't really care about that. But let's take a look at the after effects of that, right? Here's the thing. Supposedly, there is around 10.7 billion total VET, which is VeChain's primary native token, that is locked. That is pretty impressive. Keep in mind, 10.7 billion, the total supply of VET is around 86 billion. So this is pretty impressive in my opinion. Not to mention, it says how when it comes to the VTHO emission reduction, it's gone down around 50%, which is pretty impressive. Now, let's take this into consideration, right? When it comes to VTHO, what is it? Now, VET, again, it's the primary native token of VeChain, basically. But when it comes to VTHO, it basically acts as like a gas token, so to speak, if I would even want to put it that way. So the thing is, if I take a look at that right there, isn't that pretty impressive? Keep in mind, both VET and VTHO are used on the VeChain Thor blockchain, right? So if anything, if there is an emission reduction when it comes to VTHO, if there is supposedly around 10.7 billion VET that is locked, not to mention, if I take a look at, for instance, they say active participants are up around 94% in terms of growth, in which case, I guess it's cool. So if I still see all of this right here, and this is after we've seen the Hayabusa upgrade, right? I don't think it's such a bad thing. I don't think Hayabusa was a flop, so to speak, because people like to say, oh, Hayabusa, it was a failure. They say it wasn't good or anything like that. But I tend to disagree because the statistics may be showcasing a different story. Now, is VET still low in terms of price? Yeah, it is. I mean, still down by quite a lot. I mean, still around almost 70% down in the past 365 days, or the past year, I would say. But I mean, at least in the past week, the recovery has been almost 5%, but these are all negligible, in my opinion, in the grand scheme of things. The reason why is because I'm going to focus on right here, right now, right? Like, for instance, VET as of right now, market cap is around 600 million. We literally saw a market cap of around 5 billion back in December of 2024. So kind of my mindset is this. If we assume just for simplicity's sake, VET's current market cap is 600 million, and let's say back then it achieved a market cap of 5 billion, right? Just for simplicity's sake. That means we're around 8 times lower than that. So am I gonna complain? Well, the answer is no, because here's the thing. Around 8 times lower? I mean, let's say VET never sees a hypothetical altcoin season, and for whatever reason, it just went to a market cap back at around 5 billion from right now. I am going to Brazil and Ecuador, and I'm going to Sizzler. That's a going to Sizzler type of moment right there. I don't even need a hypothetical altcoin season at this point because VET has had such a major pullback to the point that if it just returns back to a level in which we saw literally slightly over a year ago, I'm already like pretty, I guess, happy in my opinion. Like, I don't even need it to see a hypothetical altcoin season. Would it be nice to see an altcoin season? Yeah, of course. But do I need to really see it in order to have a going to Sizzler type of moment? Well, the answer is not really, because again, we're around 8 times lower than where we were just slightly over a year ago. And does anyone think that December of 2024 was an altcoin season? I don't. I mean, that's just the way you take a look at it. I just don't think that was an altcoin season. The sentiment when it comes to altcoins were better back then, but I don't think that was an altcoin season. So if, let's say, for whatever reason, the sentiment when it comes to altcoins could just return back to that moment, I don't even need an altcoin season anymore. That's kind of my mindset. Just because we're kind of, relatively speaking, still pretty low even as of right now in terms of market cap at around 600 million. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to complain if it just goes back to that moment. I don't need an altcoin season anymore at that point. This is just my mindset, right? But I am not telling anyone to do anything. Also, if I take a look at it, VET has pretty good listings, right? I mean, it's not like it's not popular or something like that. It's currently ranked 72nd in the world in terms of market cap within this space. So it's kind of up there actually in the grand scheme of things. Usually, in my opinion, for any project in like the top 100, it almost doesn't even really matter if it's a meme or not or whatever, right? If it's in the top 100, usually during a hypothetical altcoin season, it seems a little bit difficult to kind of have a project like that be forgotten about. In a sense where if a project is ranked like 600th or 700th or whatever, if there was like a hypothetical altcoin season, sometimes, they could get forgotten about. Or if, let's say, the market just picks up again, sometimes they could become irrelevant randomly. We've seen that in some cases. But if it's like a top 100 project, usually it's a little bit difficult for a project like that to just completely become ignored like that. I think sometimes it's a little bit difficult. So when it comes to VET, if it could just maintain that position, heading into maybe a hypothetical altcoin season or heading into a market recovery, if it could just maintain that position, I'm not going to complain. That's my mindset. It doesn't even need to do better. If it could just maintain that, I'm already quite happy. At the same time as well, if I take a look at it, if I compare this to something like Luna Classic, in which case I don't even know why some people out there are still very excited when it comes to that, but at the same time as well, like some people out there do value the sort of historical presence that it has, and they kind of like the community. So I kind of get that to a certain extent, but personally for me, I would not want to hypothetically dollar cost average at all into something like that. I personally, in my opinion, would rather believe in other alternatives. Now, here's the thing. If I take a look at Luna Classic, right, it's currently ranked 128th in the world. The market cap as of right now is around 230 million. Again, VET is around 600 million. If someone asked me, am I going to be choosing Luna Classic or VET? There's no way I'm going to be choosing Luna Classic. That's the way to take a look at it. This is just personally for me. Well, first of all, I feel like VeChain actually has a use case that I could look forward to. Like, for instance, VeChain is focused primarily on supply chain management. We've seen what VeChain did with PowerSlap and as well as the UFC. Not to mention, when it comes to VeChain, the VeChain Thor blockchain supposedly, ever since 2018, has had zero network outages. And also historically, I've seen partnerships when it comes to H&M, BMW, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Deloitte, and much more when it comes to VeChain. And I contrast that with something like Luna Classic, which granted has a lower market cap, but we've seen the historical nonsense when it comes to that, right? I just haven't really seen it when it comes to VeChain. Again, ever since 2018, zero network outages. Yes, VET is having a pullback, but even though with the slight recovery, it's still down by quite a lot. But I don't mind though, because even with a higher market cap than something like Luna Classic, I just like the fundamentals a lot better. And that's just the way to take a look at it. So when it comes to if people are saying, oh, Luna Classic, they say hypothetically could maybe do this or do that. Well, if that could do whatever people expect it to do, right? Why can't this as well, maybe? Like, if let's say a project that is smaller than VET could randomly make it, why can't this? This is kind of my mindset, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. I get it, sure. When it comes to VeChain, its primary focus, which again is supply chain management, it may not be viewed as the most cool or interesting thing, but really in the grand scheme of things, if I consider a project that's like focused on supply chain management, what do I think of? I automatically think about VeChain. That's just kind of my mindset. Sure, it's not the most popular niche, so to speak, but at least if it's like considered to be pretty popular within its own niche, why is that a bad thing? This is just the way to take a look at it. So when it comes to VeChain overall, I just haven't given up. I'm still dollar cost averaging once a month, and that's kind of it. But in the meantime, I don't feel like the Hayabusa upgrade was a flop. I don't think it was a failure. I think if anything, it has, done pretty cool things when it comes to VeChain, despite the market conditions not doing the best lately, or ever since Hayabusa launched, I would say. Even still, despite that, we've seen kind of the after effects of what VeChain has done ever since then. So I do like seeing that, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But as of right now, I'm just still waiting because that's all I can do. But I'm going to wait. Again, that's it. And again, I'm just dollar cost averaging once a month, but I am not telling anyone to do anything. However, I'll be sure to make more updated videos when it comes to VeChain, so hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. It's Willie the Captain, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.